if you have a question about your car, maybe it's making a funny noise, maybe your tires are wearing unevenly, and you just drove 4 hours through the rain, you're like, what's going on? Who do you talk to? Who do you ask if you have a car question? Who's your car person? Someone who just shout it out. Who's your car person? What was that? The dealer, okay. What else?
Crazy uncle.
Crazy uncle. Yes, perfect. What else? Wife. Okay. Thank you. All right. Now what about if you need a new computer? And like that's overwhelming, that's a big decision. How do you decide what you need? Who do you talk to if you need a new computer? Who's your computer person? Apple. You gotta be loud. Apple. Apple. Okay. Your child, that's a good one. That's a good one.
IT guy next door.
IT guy next door. Google it. Me, myself. Okay, who said me, myself? Okay, if you need a new computer, there's your gentleman right there. We are actually in a room full of thought leaders who have their specific areas of expertise. That's what a thought leader is. It's the person we think of and the person we go to when we have a specific need. So before we get too far into our discussion today, we want to make sure that we talk about that. We want to talk about how we can position ourselves as a thought leader. So what is thought leadership? We defined fractional already. Thank you, John. Let's define thought leadership. What does that mean? It's being recognized as an industry authority and expert. It involves providing valuable insights and gaining credibility. We do that through content creation and active engagement. So it's all about positioning yourself so you're that person people go to when they need what you do. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And why does it matter? So in our illustration here, our first picture, that's a oak tree sapling. Now if you were to plant an acorn in a 2-foot terracotta pot, I like terracotta because that's the right way to spell Terra, P.S. If you were to plant that there, how big is that tree going to grow? Yeah, you're shaking your head, not that big, right? Okay, now, and we've seen trees do some pretty incredible things. Like we've seen them split rocks and they can do amazing things. But the point is it going to reach its potential if it's restricted? By not positioning ourselves as thought leaders, we are restricting ourselves because we're not getting the exposure that we need. An oak tree at maturity can reach 60 feet high and 150 feet wide. That's a lot of potential. But I don't know about you, I haven't seen that many oak trees that actually look like this one. What is our potential and how can we reach it? Thought leadership is going to help us with that process. There's a lot that we can do to help position us as experts. There's a study that was done in 2022 by the LinkedIn Edelman Thought Leadership Report. They discovered that the impact of thought leadership on business-to-business decision makers was profound. 50% of those decision makers said they look at thought leadership when they're making a decision when it comes to the vendor that they're going to work with or potential partner. 90% of people surveyed in that same survey said 90% said thought leadership is going to help build trust and credibility with that individual or that organization. 90%. And when we live in a world where we can do business with anyone, anywhere, those relationships, that positioning is even more important than ever. So if you want to build trust, improve your brand reputation, thought leadership is something that's going to help propel us along the way. Now when I think about that oak tree, and I think about the soil that it's in and being in the right place, starting from the right place. I think of the characteristics of thought leaders. Okay, now I know passionate is the first one up there, and I know that that's kind of overused. I get that, but just go with me because enthusiastic just didn't seem strong enough. What are you passionate about? I talked to a woman just before I came up here who's not sure yet. And I saw your hands go up for those of you who are fractionally curious. So there are folks in this room who aren't sure yet. So that's something I want you to think about today and tomorrow. What am I really passionate about? What can I do that's different that no one else can? How can I seek to make a difference? One key to this is finding out where your strong opinions lie. What gets you fired up? What keeps you up at night? What gets you out of bed in the morning? So I think of this passion piece. In my book, Flex the Freelance, I had the opportunity to interview a lot of successful entrepreneurs. And of all of the entrepreneurs that I have interviewed and encountered, they didn't start their business for financial reasons. Amy Zimmerman was no exception. So Amy has a differently abled son. And as he was getting older, she realized he's going to need employment. But he needed a lot of direction. He needed a lot of supervision. So her question, her passion, was helping to find a differently abled individual employment so that they could feel like contributing members of society. That was her passion. How she chose to go about it is through a somewhat unexpected route. Popcorn. Thought leadership is not about the product. It is not about the service. It is about the reason behind the why we do what we do. So Amy Zimmerman discovered that her son was really interested in popcorn. He liked popcorn. They started with just a little stand. They'd go to events and sell popcorn. Pop and Z's, it's really good. They'd sell popcorn. She got thinking about it. This is something he likes, he's passionate about, and can help me to solve this problem of how do I ensure that my differently abled son can have meaningful, gainful employment for the long term. And she has an incredible mission and vision that goes beyond popcorn. It's popcorn with a purpose. So when we talk about thought leadership, let's think about that today. How can I achieve the things that are important to me? How can I let people know what's important to me? And again, it does not necessarily have to be directly related to the product or service that we offer. So listen up, because I've got 6 steps for you. If you're a note taker, you might want to jot these down. We've got 6 steps for thought leadership to build your fractional business or your small business. The first one here is simply be. Be you. Who are you? Who will you always be, and what will you stand true to no matter what? You're the face of your organization, especially if you're fractional or independent. It's you. You're the business.